Bar, and Perry Raso, who is the owner, has prepared me a couple of platters, not just one, of oysters, of lobster rolls. I mean, I don't really have a hard job right now, I have to say. So, Perry, tell me, it is kind of confusing to me when I come up and I say, you know, there's a couple of options of oysters. So is there a difference in flavor with the oysters? Tell me about it.
Yeah, depending on where the oyster is grown and how the oyster is grown, it really has an impact of the flavor and, you know, the brininess, the texture. Some people grow their oysters on the seafloor. Some people grow them in cages. Some people grow them in Narragansett Bay and then the different coastal ponds. And depending on, you know, how they're grown, the water they're grown in, what they're eating, the algae they're eating, they'll have an impact on the flavor.
Okay, so the way that it's grown, that's going to have an impact. And we were talking earlier, you actually gave me a nice lesson about the fact that you grow your oysters. Tell us in a couple of, I don't know, descriptive words how you do that. Like, do you actually have a seed to plant?
Yeah, absolutely. It's much like growing vegetables or like asparagus. Takes a few years to grow. The oysters take a few years to grow. We get the oyster seed from a hatchery. They warm the temperature of the water up. They get them to spawn, and then we buy the oyster seed. The farmers buy the oyster seed at that size. Millions of them fit in a small volume, and then we grow them out gradually.
So, and literally, when people are eating these, and I'm going to eat one of them, do you recommend?
I recommend Matunuck.
Okay. Are these extra briny or no?
Briny and it's sweet fish.
Oh, it is very briny. It was delicious, but you can really appreciate everything that you were mentioning about the fact that you grew it. That is so good. I'm going to take a bite of this lobster roll. There's a lot more that's coming up here at the Charlestown Seafood Festival. We'll be back to you guys. Well, from the table, the ocean state is the perfect place for local seafood. We just heard from Terry from Matunuck Oyster Bar, and he's always mentioning how fresh his food is. So I headed to Matunuck to see for my own eyes just how fresh it really is. Growing, harvesting, serving. That's the motto here at Matunuck Oyster Bar.
I started the Matunuck Oyster Bar with the farm-to-plate theme. Not sure if it would work or not, but I knew I needed the commercial dock space on the pond. And so we've been staying busy.
A breeze off the salt water and a stunning view await diners. Not to mention the tasty summer favorites on the menu.
The response from the customers is great when we serve them a nice, fresh, local dish. You know, they get the seafood and the vegetables, and you know the customers notice the difference, and I think that's why they come back.
The food is fresh, but just how fresh is it?
The oysters and vegetables are harvested every day to order. So as the chef needs a product, we harvest the product and bring it into the restaurant. As the shuckers go through the oysters, we bring in more oysters, so we come right out of the water. So it's really creating something that's as fresh as it can be, and the customers, I think, really notice that in the dishes.
Perry grows oysters and vegetables right off the pond.
I started the Matunuck Vegetable Farm last year in order to provide a fresher product, straight from the farm down the road.
With dishes coming out constantly, Perry's crew works hard to keep the plant supply going.
We identify different varieties of different crops that the customers enjoy, and we're able to grow well.
The vegetable farm is located to the right of that pond behind me. They're brought back here to Matunuck Oyster Bar and served up fresh on your plate. And the oysters are no different. They come straight from Potter's Pond, too.
We harvest daily to order, so the oysters are as fresh as can be.
And no, you're not seeing things. That's Perry, waist deep in the water, searching for oysters.
We start with oyster seed when they're about 1 millimeter, the size of a grain of sand, and we grow them out to market size. We also sell oyster seed when they're about 1.5 inches to other farmers.
From the oyster farm to shucked on a tray or even topping off your drink, these are the freshest oysters around. They taste good, too. Farm to table, pond to plate. Either way, it's delicious, and delivering the freshest quality of ingredients is what Perry prides himself on.
A lot of restaurants do farm-to-plate theme, and I think what separates our restaurant is we're actually doing the farming.
Matunuck Oyster Bar is open 7 days a week, and yes, Will, they serve up more than just seafood. You can, of course, check them out this weekend. He's laughing right now. At the Charlestown Seafood Festival. For a link to their website and this segment, head to our website. And we'll, of course, have more on the Charlestown Seafood Festival coming up later in the show.
My God,